All right, here we go. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Reyes Reflection Podcast. For any updates, upcoming guests, and things like that, please check out my Instagram page at I'm Nathanael Reyes. Again, AEL instead of IEL. My mother decided to be a little different. My next guest is breaking all barriers. He's a Cuban-American singing country music. He's a contestant on this upcoming season of The Voice. So please welcome the Cuban Cowboy, Orlando Mendez. Thank you for coming on, my friend.
Thank you for having me on here, Nathaniel. I appreciate you, brother. Excited to talk to you a little bit and get into it, man.
Love it. Off camera, we had said that we're gonna let our flows go. Look, I know everyone, my visual audience. I'm always wearing a hat, and for once, I'm letting the long hair go. So there you
It looks great, brother. The mane is flowing.
go.
You
Yeah,
got it going on, bro. Look at us,
yeah, I know.
long hair brothers out here.
I do. Before I go on, do you have dimples too?
Yeah.
Look at that. Look
What
at
are
that,
you?
bro.
We're twins out here. We're
Bro,
twins.
what is this? Oh my goodness! Look at that. Finding a brother down in Miami. No, I'm also Hispanic too. So, uh, before I ask you anything about like your singing career, anything like that, do you have the stereotype big Hispanic family?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
We're big, loud, energetic. It's we fit all of the Latin family
All,
stereotypes for sure.
all the checks, right? You're
Yeah,
like, yep, loud. Yeah.
all the boxes are checked off.
I love it. I love it. Other than a big family, how was it growing in Miami?
Man, it was great. I got into it a little bit on the show, but just culturally, you're surrounded by a bunch of different cultures. You're introduced to not only Hispanic cultures, but also there's a big Haitian community down here, um, big Chinese community, Indian community. So you have all these cultures that you constantly grow up around, man. And it's I think it makes you a more well-rounded person. Um, Miami's lively, dude. There's always something to do, always something going on. This city seems to always have music playing, the party bumping. So it's it's fun, man. It's fun growing up here. Fun being here.
So a good diverse area.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
awesome. Yeah, and a really big major market city, so everyone knows where you are. And Miami, Florida, because I think there's a Miami, Ohio too. Where Miami,
Miami,
Florida.
Florida. Yeah.
I think I saw that one time a few years back on like a college football team. I was like, wait, what? Like, no,
Wait, there's a second one of those.
yeah, right? No, there's only one Miami. Come on now.
Right.
Um, speaking of which, you said on the show, you said that you dance salsa. Is it salsa on one?
It's salsa. Yeah, salsa on one. I dance a little bit salsa, nothing crazy, but I can move a little bit.
Yeah, I practice. I dabble a little bit, so that's why I was curious. I was curious.
You
So
got the technical terms and everything.
yeah, no. I was like, I saw you dance, and I was like, oh wow, look at him go, look at that. You and your mom said it too. Your mom was like, yeah, we went with salsa, and then we shifted to country, which you said you started picking up around middle school. Is that right?
Yeah. Late middle school, early high school, I started listening to country music. I immediately fell in love with, like I said, with the lyrics, the stories, and then obviously the melodies, which are so, um, easy to sing and catch
Yeah.
on. So yeah, man, I loved it from the second I heard it.
I wasn't big into country until I was out of high school. So I'm not too, I think you're what, 25, 26?
26, yeah.
Yeah, I'm 28. I wasn't too big into country until I want to say 19 years old. But the very first song I heard was "Chicken Fried," which that's very common, and that put me onto it. And now every summertime, it's like countries. I got to listen to the country, windows down, because the weather's nice. But so that must have been a pretty different transition for you because I mean, just to call it what it is, it's not common for a Hispanic individual to be singing country music, and that's kind of where you've established your roots in music. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's kind of where I've paved a little bit of a unique path because, like you said, before, especially when I started listening to country music, I didn't hear a lot of it in Miami, period.
Hmm.
My family never listened to it. I never heard it from my friends. It was just kind of, a genre of music that wasn't really explored down here. So I started listening to it and fell in love with it, and then kind of introduced it to my family, to my friends, and actually now, like country music's made a lot in terms of a stride in Miami and in South Florida. It's kind of become a lot more popular than it was back in the day. The Cuban American community's kind of adopted it a little bit because it has all the elements that we as people truly believe in, which is love for family, love for a good time, and the emotional elements that we all try to embrace as well, like sadness over somebody you lost, sadness over heartbreak, like these things that are just such human emotions that it's hard to not kind of feel it.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. And I think it's just even the way that we're switching into music, country music is changing. It's slower country. It's not the same, what it once was, or what I originally had a vision for when I was younger
Mhm.
as well. And similar to you, I didn't grow up exposed to country music. I grew up with more R&B, Latin, like that type of stuff. So I wasn't exposed to it either. And now that I have it, now that I have been, I love it. Like I do love country music, and I try to put people onto it. People
Yeah,
that are
yeah,
like, oh yeah, like I've never listened to it, or I'm not a big fan of it. I'm like, there's some really nice songs that are, pretty. Like you got to listen to the words too, because the words are really nice and they mean something.
absolutely. And that's what that's the part I love about it the most, is that the words tell a story. They mean something. They get you, they hit you deep,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
they just relate. That's what I love about country music.
Who are some of your inspirations? Because I'm getting a Thomas Rhett vibe from
Dude,
you.
love me
Yeah,
some
me
Thomas
too.
Rhett. Love me some Thomas Rhett. I actually play a ton of his stuff in my band. But interestingly enough, the first person I fell in love with, like the first country artist that I was like, "This is my guy," was Darius Rucker.
Oh, yes, yes, I love.
And dude, I don't know if you remember, but Darius Rucker back in the day had his band Hootie and the Blowfish.
I was gonna say the blow. Yeah.
Hootie and the Blowfish, and they had some bangers that I listened to growing up, like "Only Want to Be with You," "Let Her Cry." Like there were some songs that me and my dad would just jam to. And then so I started listening to country music, and one day I'm sitting there and I'm listening to this familiar voice on the radio, man. I'm like, this voice just sounds like familiar to me. It sounds like something I know. I was like, dude, who is this? And I look it up and I Google him, and it's Darius Rucker. Okay, who is this guy? Started to do the whole Wikipedia search. I realized that he was the lead singer of Hootie and the Blowfish, who I grew up with, and I'm like, oh my god, like this is my dude.
Yeah.
So I started listening to a bunch of his music. He inspired the hell out of me. Him, Blake Shelton, and I don't say this in like in an ironic way because I'm on the show now, but I listened to a ton of Blake Shelton when I got into country music.
Yep.
Dirk Bentley, Billy Currington, like a bunch of those guys.
And that's another thing about country music. I mean, we can literally talk the whole episode on it just because of the vast topic that it is. But there's so many inspirations that you can go, and there's so many different avenues and different people, and you can pull from each and every single one, especially you as a male country singer. You have a great talent pool to choose from in terms of inspiration. You just mentioned I'm a big Sam Hunt fan as well. Like you have a bunch of people to really kind of, sink your hooks in and like learn from them in a way. So
Mhm.
I think that's really, really cool. When did music become more of a career path for you and not so much of a hobby?
Well, it's kind of crazy. That only happened recently, and you see some of a lot of the other contestants on the show, and they've been doing it for years and years and years. Unfortunately, I got into it a little late. I was an actor before I started doing music. I studied theater in college at UF. I got my theater degree, and I was doing acting. And then with COVID, the whole acting world shut down,
Yep.
and so I had all this time to myself. And I always liked writing songs. Um, and so I just kind of dug into that. I learned how to play guitar, kept writing songs, and then met a couple cool musicians and created a band. And that was only about less than 2 years ago,
Hmm.
a little less than 2 years. And once we started gigging, things started opening back up. We started gigging. I've been doing that full time. It's been about a year and a half now.
Did you say you taught yourself guitar?
Yeah.
I've been teaching myself. I actually have I looked over because I have my acoustic guitar right here. So
Hey,
trying to teach myself too. So I
love it.
love it.
And dude, and YouTube is a hell of a resource. You can
Yeah.
learn anything you want on there, man. I would just watch videos for hours and just I had all the time in the world. We were locked down. The whole world was pretty much shut down. I was
Yep.
like, let me try to this up and learn a new craft.
Exactly. Yeah. make use of the time that you have. Exactly. So you brought up your band. So you perform with your band, right? And that's what you do now for work, I'm
Yeah.
assuming.
Yep.
Nice.
We gig full time, 3, 4, 5 nights a week.
Are you taking some time off now that you're on the show?
Yeah. So we took, we were on a hiatus for about 3 months. So the way the show works, I can talk about this part. The way the show works is these couple rounds coming up, the blind auditions, battle rounds, and knockout rounds are all pre-taped. We taped them in the summer, and so my band and I took about a 3 month hiatus while I was over in LA doing that, and now we're back full time gigging. We have a tour we're going on next week, and we're excited to get back into it.
Awesome. Awesome. And it was one of your band performances where someone gave you the moniker of the Cuban Cowboy, right?
Yeah, yeah, we were playing at a bar with Bougainvillea's down here in Miami, which is one of my favorite spots to play at. And I remember the night, dude. We were just singing some country tunes up on stage, and somebody from the crowd, I don't even remember who it was. I just hear something like launched toward my way. That's the Cuban Cowboy. And he said it a couple times, and I was like, man, I kind of like that. Like
Yeah.
that could flow.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, you're like, I'm just gonna ride with this. That's so cool
Yeah,
that like somebody screams from the crowd, Cuban Cowboy, and now that's just who you are. You've embraced it. I think it's like on your Instagram
yeah.
handle too, or your bio and stuff like that too. That's pretty cool. Your other band members, did you grow up with them, or how did you pull them into the band? Did you do an audition? How did you manage that?
So before I was playing with this band, I was playing with a buddy of mine from high school. We over quarantine and stuff started getting together and jamming, and we kind of created this little duo and started playing at the bars that were open, like towards the tail end of COVID. Little duo gigs here and there. But I wanted something more. I wanted a full band. He also got a full time job, didn't have the time to do it anymore. So one day I was out there handing out cards at venues, like to just play solo gigs, and I look to my right, and there's a band setting up on stage, and I start getting talking to the lead guitarist, and they were looking for a singer, and I
No
was like,
way.
man, this is it's crazy. We just I had a gig at that same place a couple weeks later. We loved the way we sounded together, man, and we just kept it going. My whole band, they all knew each other because they all graduated from the University of Miami, the School of Music. So they were all School of Music um, students at the University of Miami, and we're doing that thing, and then picked me up.
And you said you went to school for acting, is that correct?
Yeah.
And theater?
hmm
Prior to the shutdown, did you do any roles?
Yeah. So I've a lot of theater acting. I actually have my union card for the stage acting union. I was doing a bunch of work. I actually was in a big show down here in South Florida, which was named the Amparo Experience, which is kind of this immersive Cuban-American play that took place in a huge like mansion, and it was kind of like uh, immersive. You would like dive into this world, and everything was
Yeah.
interactive. So that was huge down here. That ran for a little more than a year, and then with the shutdown, kind of that whole theater scene shut down.
That's not the same union as like SAG, right? Is it?
It's the sister union, Actors Equity.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, I've done some acting too. So when you said that, I
Yeah,
was like, oh, look
see,
at that. Dude,
well,
it's like a parallel universe right now. I just can't grow a beard. That's the only thing.
oh no, I believe nah, you can do it.
You got me on that. No, my pop said he couldn't grow a beard till he was about 30.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I have a couple years, and we'll see. If I can't, then I'll be like, Dad, I don't know, man. I don't know what's happening with me. So, your folks joined you on the show, right? They were there in that like back room with Carson Daly. How was the experience for them when you first told them that you were going to audition for The Voice?
So this whole process has been about a year in the making. Um, last September, I received the emails, through the actors, all these actor websites for casting that I had subscribed to. And
Yep.
I would see the voice audition, the voice audition, the voice audition. I always brushed it off. And finally, a friend of mine sent it to me directly. And he was like, if you don't audition for this, you're dumb.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, fine.
That's a good friend.
That's a good friend. I was like, I got peer pressured into it. It's like, all right, fine, I'll do it. and
Yeah.
put in the the submission. But there were so many rounds before we actually got out to LA for blind auditions. There
Oh,
were a lot of
really?
rounds. So when I first told my parents about a year ago, they were happy, but I was like, listen, there's a lot to go. This is nowhere near um, coming to fruition. And I have a lot to go before the blinds. But once I told them I got the call that I was going to be going out to LA, they were, I mean, hyped, dude. My mom was ecstatic. She screamed. I remember being on the phone and telling her, she just started yelling. I was like, "Oh my god!"
That's awesome. That's awesome. You're really close with them, right? It seemed that way, and like obviously, I know TV can sometimes paint a picture, but it seems like you all were really close because even her saying, "No, we fully support even just the country avenue. We never listen to country, but ever since he started doing it, that's how we've kind of gone into it." So it seems pretty cool. And then I like the little montage they had of you all eating food, like
Yeah,
a lot of, and you're like lots of food, lots of drinking, lots of fun, lots of laughs. That sounds about right. Sounds like a good family. Sounds like a good fun family.
that's how it is, man. We're tight. It's a family that's just built upon loving each other and being around each other. We get together for, I'm telling you, every occasion, every birthday, every holiday, and even if there's no occasion, we'll get together, watch football, or just to hang out on a Sunday. Like, we're always with each other. So
Yeah,
um, you know, I'm
you
I'm
gotta
blessed
love
to have
that.
a support system like that. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
you gotta love that. Any siblings for you?
I got two younger brothers who are
Okay,
my best friends.
all boys. So all boys.
Yeah, we're three boys.
That's us. That dude, that's my family too. Like, not three
There you
boys, four boys.
go.
So I have three other brothers, but yeah,
There you
all boys, man. Yeah. Wow, look at
Dude,
that. So,
look at us, bro. I found my brother here.
seriously, I know, right? Find another brother. So transitioning into the voice, your blind audition, your big TV moment, you sang "Beer Never Broke My Heart." Great song. Why did you choose that song?
Man, that's a song I've performed a lot with my band. It's a song that I believed would show a couple different facets of me. Right? It was going to show the countryside. It was going to show that I have a little more than country and I can rock a little bit, which I
Yeah,
love to do.
yeah,
Like me and my band, we play country rock for the most part. We'll play country, we'll play rock, we'll mix it up a little bit, do some songs that cross over, like "Beer Never Broke My Heart." So I was like, okay, it'll show country, it'll show rock, it'll show some range because you got those low notes in the beginning, and then at the end, it kind of goes crazy.
yep.
There's just there were some opportunities to hit some nice big notes there. So for all those reasons, and it's energetic, and people know it. For all those reasons, I was like, it's a no brainer.
I'm telling you, dude, I was sitting on my couch and I was like, yeah, like I was
Yeah,
into it. And I'm like, I can't imagine being in that room. I would have been all up in because the fans are real, right? They're like
yeah,
people that are
there's a good crowd there of like a couple hundred people, and they were going, man.
yeah,
I was so happy. I was so excited that you know they actually knew the song, and that what I thought was going to happen, which was people would feel it and get into it and start singing along with me, it actually happened.
yeah.
So that helped me out tremendously.
Yeah, because I was gonna say your adrenaline's going, the momentum is there. So no, you smashed that, dude. You did a great job. And even just like your energy was just like you felt it. And you're that's a good song because like you said, you're right. There is a rock portion to it. And
Mhm.
even myself, I felt like a little edgy and a little rock when you were singing it. Yeah, and I think you did a really good job at performing that song. I think that was a good song for you.
Thank you.
Now,
I appreciate it.
did you have a list to choose from, or was there other ones that you were like, oh, maybe this one? Ultimately, you chose the right one. You had a forward chair turn, which we'll definitely talk about, but you chose the right song. Were there any other ones that you were like, because you said Hootie and the Blowfish and Darius Rucker? Were there any other ones that you were like, oh, maybe I might have considered singing that one, or do they give you a list to choose from?
Yeah, there's like a list. It's a long list of like 500 songs, and then you
Oh, so
choose.
it's a good list.
Yeah, it's a great list. Like, and there's some great songs on there. I remember having a hard time picking. Um, Beer Never Broke My Heart was always top of the list for me, but I remember having a hard time arranging that 1 through 5 um, list. It was like there were some other really good songs on there that I would have liked to maybe mess around with.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. Who who kind of helped you realize that you were actually pretty good at singing? And the reason why I say this because I love to sing, I suck at it though. So so that's something that we're not twinning in. But when for you, when was it like, oh, this person kind of told me that I'm a good singer? Maybe not mom, because mom is always your biggest fan.
Yeah,
So
I know. No, yeah. My mom, anything I do, she'll tell me I'm amazing, which is like it's great, but at the same time, it's sometimes I'm like, you could tell me if I'm not cutting it there. But man, growing up, I had a drama teacher who really was like a mentor to me, and she put me in a bunch of musicals. She would always give me the opportunities, and she liked the sound of my voice. But really, the person who and this is the most recent person who made me believe was my vocal coach Matt Morgan.
mhm.
I went to the University of Florida, and he was the head of the music department over there. And although I wasn't a musical theater major, I was just a straight theater major. He always allowed me to audition for the musicals. He always told me how much he loved my voice, how unique it was, how much of a fan he was of my stage performance and the sound of my voice. And he believed in me, and dude, that meant everything, for a guy like that who is around singers and incredible singers all day to tell me that I have what it takes to do that meant a lot. I still work with him to this day. He's my vocal coach.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, no, for sure. Do you have any performances that you did in college that you're able to kind of like share out? Like, do you have any recorded that you did?
I have pictures of a lot of them. I don't know if I have any
Like
uh
videos?
videos, but I know I have pictures of a lot of the shows I was in.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah. And you could tell the reason why I bring that up is because you could tell your stage presence was there on your blind audition when you were jamming, rocking, and even getting the crowd involved. Like you were so good at that energy and kind of getting everyone involved and just your whole confidence in your demeanor. Like you can tell that stage, like you own that stage for that minute and a half, which that's how long the
Yeah,
audition is, right?
maybe in 90 seconds. But thank you, man. That means a lot. Like that's kind of that's the area that I pride myself in.
Yeah.
Like my singing, I always, try to be the best I can be. Always try to, hit all the right notes. But at the end of the day, I'm not technically the best singer on the show, nowhere near. But I think where I try to excel is stage presence, really connecting with the crowd, really trying to bring that energy, bring that crowd in, and make them feel like they're part of what's happening on that stage. And so I'm glad that translated, man. Thank you.
It did. And beautifully said, because at the end of the day, it is a performance, right? You can that's a great song, Beer Never Broke My Heart, but hundreds of people can sing that song. Hundreds of people can sing that
Absolutely.
song, do covers of it, renditions, whatever. But how are you going to make it connect with the audience? How are you going to make it connect with that individual? And I think you take pride in your stage presence. Again, it shows you did a great job. And I think even for myself, I connected to it. Like I said, sitting on my couch, I was like, "Oh wow, look at that guy! Look at him go! He's having a great time. He's having fun. He's singing the song. He's confident." And I think stage presence can go a long way. And so and the fact that you take a conservative effort to have a strong stage presence, I think it resonated and it showed. So kudos to you, my friend. You that was a good area to focus on because again, I noticed it and I as a fan. So
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man.
yeah,
Means a
no,
lot.
I got you. So you had four chair turns. You had four icons in the industry vying for you. They were literally fighting for you, arguing for you, man. Why did you decide to go to Team Camila?
Dude, so yeah, like you said, dude, four superstars, man, four huge names in the industry just staring at me and
Yep.
all wanted me on their team. And it was the hardest decision of my life. I say that every time
Because
because
you wouldn't have gone wrong either way.
exactly, you can't go wrong there. They're
Yeah.
all incredible. They're all talented. They're all amazing and bring something so different, each of them, that you can't go wrong. Um, it was the hardest decision of my life, man. And truly what swayed me because I went in there thinking I was gonna go Blake Shelton. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie to you. I went in, I was like, I have Blake Shelton. His songs have been anthems in my life. I love who he is as a person. I was like, I'm going Blake all the way. And then they started debating, going back and forth. And truly, what swayed me is number one, Camila. I felt like I was talking to somebody from home.
Yeah.
I felt like I was talking to somebody that I would meet here. Um, here in Miami, locally at a bar or at a grocery store. She was just so relatable to me because we have that similar background, that similar lingo. We have all that in common. Then she said great things like, I love the tone of your voice. She was the first one to turn. She said, I can hear you on the radio and I want to keep you country, but I also want to bring in those other genres that you mess around with here, like rock and pop, and, kind of diversify you. And so I thought that was all incredible, um, incredible things that she said. And that's really what swayed me.
No, for sure. Yeah, dude. She's great. Again, you couldn't have gone wrong either way. Even John Legend, he turned
Mm.
around at the last second. Was it really at the buzzard?
It was really at the buzzer. Like it was, he said it after. He was like, I was waiting for that last note.
Yeah.
And I hit that note, and then that's kind of what turned him.
Yeah, because sometimes TV can show one thing, but so that's why I was like, was it really? Because when you watch it, he did it at the last second, literally last note. Song was about to end in 2 seconds, and he hit the button. So
Yeah,
y-
I didn't think he was gonna turn. I didn't think he was gonna turn, and then that last note, like I saw out of the corner of my eye his light go, and I was like, oh man, like
yeah,
that's insane.
yeah, and I thought you were going Blake. I definitely did because just country. But then when John also brought up the point when he was like, get ready. You could surprise everyone right now. You don't have to go with someone from your hometown. You don't have to go with Blake. You don't have to go with someone who's married to country. You can go with me. And
Yeah,
you go, that's a good point. Were your gears actually going of like, maybe I might choose John? Like, because it's a split second, right? It's a game time decision, right?
crazy. It's so crazy that moment. And as each of them were talking, and I was like, okay, I can see myself going with them. You know, Camila started off and she said all the right things. Blake was saying all the right things. I didn't even need him to talk. I was already sold on him. And then Gwen started talking, and Gwen started bringing up some great points. And I was like, man, I really like what Gwen has to say. And then John throws that curveball in at the end. I was like, man, how crazy would it be if I go Team John?
Yeah.
And so yeah, the gears were grinding. They were
Yeah.
going crazy at that moment.
I believe it, dude. And that's something that I feel like you can see within like the contestant and you can see it. Your brain is going a mile a minute because it's like, who am I going to choose? Am I again? You're not going to make the wrong choice in any of them,
Right.
but it's like, which one do you see yourself aligning with the best? And in your case, you clearly saw Camila, but you also saw the other ones too. There was glimpses of that too. So
Oh man.
that was a big crossroads, but a good one to be at. Yeah,
Oh, it's a great problem to have, man. It's a great
yeah,
dilemma to be in. It's just in that moment, and it's nerve wracking, and you got to make a choice on the spot.
exactly. What do you? That was clearly your biggest performance ever. What do you do to get there, like, and to feel in that moment? Because there's got to be, even though you've performed hundreds of times, there's got to be some jitters. So what do you do? What does Orlando do to get himself ready for that moment?
I love that question, man. It's a great question. I was telling my family the other day because they were asking me, what did you feel walking on that stage? How did you calm the nerves? And the what kept going through my head was like, this is the biggest moment of my life. I was meant to do this. I was meant to be here. Everything that I've done in my life has led up to this point. I'm not gonna let nerves ruin it.
Mhm.
Like the last thing I'm gonna let is nerves and jitters ruin this opportunity. Um, and so yeah, I just kept reminding myself of that. I'm also I'm a Christian, and I just kept praying. Lord, give me the strength to do this. Give me the strength to go up there and really rock this and help them to feel it. Help them to hear something that they like. In turn, and it was a blessing.
Absolutely, yeah. So you relied a lot on faith, and even just putting away that self doubt, which I think a lot of
Yeah,
people can feed into. I've never been in a moment like that ever, clearly. But for me, like I've always felt like I played sports growing up, so like just kind of feeling like I was playing one of those big games.
yeah,
You got to show up. You got to show up, and that sounds like that's kind of for you. It was the same thing. You're like, I got to show up. Orlando's got to show up. The best Orlando's got to be here.
Well, that's a great analogy. That's a great kind of similar experience there. I played football growing up as well, and it was like pre-game jitters, man. Like those locker room jitters, and then you
Yep.
get on the field, and you gotta you got to let it go. You got to be in the moment. You got to make the plays, and you can't let nerves or your mind get the best of you.
Exactly. So you played football?
Yeah, play
Yeah.
football.
Are you a Dolphins fan?
I am.
Yeah, Miami. Unfortunate.
Which has been unfortunate for most of my life.
Yeah, I was gonna say unfortunate for most of your life.
Yeah.
I'm in New England, so you're
Oh,
probably
you're a
like, oh yeah,
Patriots fan.
dude,
Oh,
dude. No. I got you, bro. I'm not a Patriots fan though. So there you go. I'm not a
okay.
Patriots fan, which I know. Same conference, Miami Dolphins, New England Patriots. I know that. No, dude, I am not a Patriots fan.
Okay.
I
Okay.
I never was. Not even when Tom Brady was here. I never was. I never was a big. I'm I'm not really a team guy. I'm more of a player
Player
type
guy.
of
Yeah.
individual. Yeah, like there's certain players that I really like, and then there's other ones that I can do without. But if I had to pick a team, I don't want to jump on the bandwagon. Um, I do like the Chiefs only because they're flashy,
Mhm.
but I actually like the Chargers. I do. I do like. I like Justin Herbert. I think he's a good and he's got the flow like us. So
He's the man, dude. But
yeah.
he's who I wish would be under center for the Dolphins right now. But
Right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. They didn't draft. Unfortunately,
they passed
unfortunately,
up
what
on
happened
him.
with Tua, though. I mean,
Yeah,
that
that's
that
tough.
that's just that's
That's
tough.
tough.
That's
Hate
tough.
to
And,
see that.
and you were your team was undefeated too. Look at that. What
Yeah,
position were you?
I played linebacker and I played center.
Oh, so you were center.
Yeah,
Oh, so you solid. Yeah, you had to. You had
I
to.
went to a small private school, which gave me the opportunity to play a lot, thankfully. And
Oh, really?
we needed the body, so played center, played linebacker, and got a lot of opportunity out there.
Was football the only sport that you really played?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I dabbled a little bit in baseball, tennis. I took lessons for a couple years, but yeah, football competitively, that was the only sport I played.
Small Catholic school. You said graduating class. How big were you guys?
132
That was your graduating
was
class.
my graduating class. Yeah,
Yeah, that is a really small school, but a lot of touches, a lot of fun.
yeah,
Everyone knew each other. Yeah.
yeah. That was cool.
That's really awesome, dude. Where can people find you so they can hear your music, follow your band, follow you, things like that?
Absolutely. So on Instagram, you can find me at Orlando J Mendez Music. That's my personal account. And then you can find my band at Orlando Mendez Band. We have those Instagrams going on TikTok. You can find me at Orlando J Mendez. My band also has a TikTok. I have all the link tree information there on my Instagram. Give me a follow. You can find me, find the band, and we have a lot of stuff in the works right now. Got a lot of music being recorded, a lot of cool content being made. So
Nice. Yeah, I can't wait. Do you have any like music pages on like Apple or Spotify or anything like that?
yeah, so I mean, I have stuff that I've released prior to the band. But yeah, I have a YouTube page with my band, the Orlando Mendez Band on YouTube. I'm actually in the process of making a personal page. So after the show, I can release, covers and original songs on there. It'll be my name. We'll try to get that up and going.
Cool. I can't wait to see those covers. I'm a big cover dude. I love covers of songs, and the reason why is because I always feel like same thing with these blind auditions. It's because I feel like there's passion behind it. Not that there's not passion in other songs, but some of the times there's ghostwriters, and so they're just singing what's being written to them.
Yeah,
Whereas when someone chooses a song to have a rendition or have an acoustic cover to it, they have to really put their heart into that song to make it sound good. So I love acoustic covers of songs. So I'll definitely be looking for that, my friend.
that's awesome, brother. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Well, thank you, Orlando. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day and doing this interview with me and the Rays Reflection.
For sure, Nathaniel. Thank you for having me, man. Thank you to your listeners for tuning in and hearing me and being here with us today, man. It's awesome.
Awesome. Thank you, brother. So please do not forget to click the subscribe button. I can be heard on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and Google. That's going to do it for today. May you live, may you love, and may you thrive. I'm the male Oprah. This is the Cuban Cowboy. Take care.